Hello YouTubers, I just wanted to bring a video to you today on how to make these beautiful little gnomes. So today we're going to put feet on some. I'm going to make one and then talk you through it before it all gets painted and everything, and then we'll go through one together and we'll go through there on how I did the beards and everything. Look, this is all made with Das air dry clay, so we're going to have a look in 2 seconds. I'm going to make one to start with and then let you have a look, and then we'll make one together. Fantastic, see you in a second. Right, hello YouTubers, I have just sat here, it's taken me about 40 minutes, 30 minutes, and just knocked together this one just so you can see. We'll run through the next one together. How easy it is. I've actually added shoes to this one. I saw a clip where they were painted black and then they got little bronzy toes to them, and they just looked absolutely beautiful. Now I like all my beards to be different. I've got one with a moustache, one with plaited or rolled or twisted beard, and the other one's just a little bit like this one. Now you can see in, excuse my my board, it needs wiping over, I just haven't had a chance. As you can see, they are quite a lot larger. Now I did that this time. I wanted to try and make them completely different sets. So each set will come as a set of 3. So you should lift it up slightly, like so. So I've got these 3. These 3 were the first 3 I've ever really made, so that shows how easy they are to make. I absolutely love them. So I've got a moustache on this one. This one's just plain straight hair, and then this one's twisted. These I am going to do the same beards on because I liked it for Christmas, all the shininess. But what I'll do is another video later on down the line when I come to paint them, because obviously with the Das air dry you have to wait for them to dry. Okay. And there was a couple of little mistakes I made on that one and the other one, which I will go through with you when the time comes to paint them and to decorate them. Okay, so size wise, huge compared to that one. I reckon out of a slab of Das air dry clay, I reckon you'll be able to get 3 good size ones this sort of size, and all the trimmings and everything with the shoes. You can literally do them how you want to. You can twist the hat how you want to. You can do it side, back, front, wherever, straight up if you wanted to, with a little curl on the top. It's entirely up to you, but that needs to be done as soon as you've pretty much made them. Okay, you can add the shoes on if you want to, you don't have to. If you turn these ones around the back, I made a bit of like a hat edging at the back of this one, but this one I didn't want it quite so big. And being Das clay as well, it's very easy to add stuff to it, very easy, just a little bit of water and it will stick to it beautifully. Then just use your finger, use some tools, a little bit of water, and then there you go. So let's get on with it straight away now. Okay, so I'll move this one back over here because he's a finished one. So I like to put mine on top of something so I can move it around. Something that it generally sticks quite well to, and always have a cloth to hand because you'll need to wipe your hands. Water, an abundance of tools, which I like there. I have got some corn flour out, but I don't need that. That was from something else I was doing, and it's a bit of a nightmare. I'm putting it away, as I'm sure you can imagine. Okay, so don't forget to roll up your clay in between what you're doing. So I put mine in a bag, because obviously it's air dry. Now I opened this probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I've just made this fella out of it over here. So I'll show you what the consistency is. I put a hairband around it, and I put 2 napkins around it as well, wrapping it back up, and as you'll be able to see in a second how soft it is. It's absolutely fine. So whilst you're not using it, keep it in some cling film, otherwise you could end up it going hard on the edges, and it just creates you trouble when it comes to using it. So I'm going to use that as my last bit. So I'll throw that rubbish away and I'll get some more tomorrow. I'm very lucky we've got a works in our town, so it's very simple to just jog along there and go and get some. Right, old bits that I've got left over, I tend to put in the middle and use them first. Now some people, it's up to you if you'd like to do it. I mean, I find this quite inexpensive to make, the actual clay. If you say it was £4 for a block, that I can get, say, 3 really good sized ones, quite large ones out of it. So that's cost you £4 to make them, then obviously you've got your paint on top. But as long as you paint them all 3 at the same time, then you don't tend to sort of waste any paint. Okay, some people use these. Let me just move that up slightly. These here. And then they wrap the clay around them, and that's, I suppose it's good if you don't want it quite as heavy, but I like mine quite heavy because if I'm going to stand them somewhere I don't want them to fall over. I mean, the other option of course is as well, you don't have to do them Christmassy, you could do them and then if you varnished them in such a way that you could put them in the garden in the summer, keep them out all winter, whatever it is you'd like to, but that's no good because that would be porous if it's left outside. So, like I say, I like to use mine all generally in clay. Okay, so I'm going to move this chap. I don't know, I'm running out of space over here. Now you want to try and get it so that he is the same size, they are the same size. So all I do is just literally sit it down like that and then just start working it like this. Now if you've got cracks in dust clay, it will come out, you just got to rub it. It's great stuff. I'm going to give you my Rottweiler, my husband's gone outside. So like so. Like this. No Ernie, you can't come in here. Like last night he came into the lounge. My husband is also ill, he also had a flu jab. And we've both had a bit of a cold. My daughter brought one home from school, bless her. And he managed to chew up and mungle out 3 balls of my wool that I've done for my squares. And as you can imagine, they are pretty mangled together now. So it's got to be separated. He hasn't chewed them at least, I suppose. Okay, so make sure you're sort of going along the same sort of sizes as your other one that you made. Now I can see immediately that that's going to be too big. So I'm going to pull that top off there, which we can use for the feet and anything else I want to put on there. If you wanted to put eyes on, you can. Just move his nose down a little bit and put some little beady eyes in the back. I don't like eyes. I struggle with faces, I'll be the first one to admit. They are an absolute nightmare. Okay, so we want to make sure, like I say, that we'll keep them relatively the same sort of size. Which right now he's about twice the size. So I'm going to cut that about there. Again, remember, if you're not using it, wrap it up because you don't want it to go hard when you come to use it in a bit. Okay, so I'm going to back to doing it this way. Just use your board. If you find a crack, just sort of smooth it over and carry on because this stuff really is brilliant. It's really versatile and you can pretty much use it for anything. The only thing I wouldn't want to do was perhaps use it for something that's really small. I don't know that I'd find that that easy to use them, but I mean the gnomes are half the size that I did before to what I'm doing now. So, and they were absolutely fine to make smaller. I chose to do them bigger this time because it was easier for you to see on film. So keep checking him against the other one to make sure you've got the correct sizing going on. Okay, we're getting there now. Still a bit big. I'm just going to cut that top bit off there. Add it in there before I go any further. If you find that it is starting to dry out a little bit, if you live in quite a warm home, just add a little bit of water on your hands. But do remember it goes slimy to start with. So it's a bit of a nightmare to use. But it's alright once it starts to dry out, then it sort of reverts back to how it should be. Okay. So So now we're starting to get the nice size going on. So it's just making a cone. That's all you're doing to start with. It's just making a cone. Like I say, there's a few little bits starting to go hard at the bottom, so I'm just going to smooth it out. We've got a hole in the bottom there. Look, that's not good, is it? Don't like that. Sometimes once I've made him as well, to make sure he's sat flat, I will cut the bottoms off, just to make sure he is as he should be. Okay. Ooh. Roll him on the side. See, I've got a bit there. Look. Don't like that. It feels quite hard actually. I wonder if that's from what I used before. Might be. It'll go. Just keep using it, working it. The more you work it, it won't dry. As long as you're... Okay, so I'm just going to test that against the other one, see what size we're at. No, it's still a bit big. It's got to come from there, really. Okay, so just cut that bit off there. See, eyes bigger than belly scenario. Let's start off with a monstrous sized piece of clay, struggle to use it and get it into the shape we want, and then decide we're only going to use a quarter of it or half. Nightmare. I'm sure as everybody else is the same. Which means that with that in mind, you'd probably find you could probably get away with one bar of this doing about, probably get about 6 out of it maybe. Don't like the fact there's a hole in the bottom there. I'm going to push a piece of clay in there. And another bit. I don't know what that was all about, but we're not having it. There we go. There we go. There we go. Right, I'm going to nip that top off. Alright, that's looking more to me like it's the size we want it really. Okay. Just a little bit fat, I think. Just a smidgen. Goodness me, I'm using so much less clay. That's good. You don't obviously want to use up your stock. Don't obviously want to use up your stocks of clay if you can help it on one sort of thing. Oh, sorry. No, I'm just wrecking the place now. Dumping lumps of clay before. Oh dear. Completely wrecking the place. I do apologise, people. Oh. Right, let me move that back round. My doorbell. Okay, so I'm going to wrap that back up because we really don't want to use any more. Let that dry out. Okay. Well, it's just, I mean, I've done 3 different sizes, so if you wanted to do a bigger one, you can do. If you want to do a smaller one, you can do. It's entirely up to you. I mean, this is the great thing about these things. They're so simple to make and so much fun. Okay, I think I'm going to leave mine like that. So once you're at that point, make sure you've got no cracks in it, because we don't want cracks. If it's gone mottled or anything like that, like it can do, just give it a brush down. Okay, like so. See around the bottom there, it's cracking. But don't forget as well, we're gonna have a hat base going around the bottom there, so it will hide some of the cracks. And to be honest, I quite like a crack or two in it. It shows that it's homemade. It's out of clay, and it just kind of gives them, I think, a little bit of character. Not hoofing great big cracks running down him, but I do like some. If you pull it upwards, it will just make his hat a little bit longer, and it just sort of... Okay. Ernie! Right, I think... Yeah, I'm happy with that. Right, so it's just a case of deciding how you want to put your hat and where you want to put it. So I'm going to roll mine over, because don't forget, you don't have to actually decide whether it goes front, back or whatever until you put the nose and the shoes and everything on. Then obviously you have to decide then. Okay, so I'm going to have mine coming right forward like that with a twist right in it, like so. And then just, you will have stress lines, so just add some water and just sort of brush it downwards. Try not to flatten it as you go. Okay. You want some creases in there, so don't sort of knock them all out. Try and keep some in. Right, there we go. Like so. So I'm going to have that as my front, I think, this time. The last one I did, actually I might have that to the side. Like that. That sounds like the coffee fairy again. No, not quite the half a coffee fairy. It's my son. Okay. There we go. Just make sure he's nice and smooth. That's it. Smoothing bits out here and there. Oh, he is going to make me a coffee by the sounds of it. That's one thing as you get to know me, or anybody that knows me, I do like my coffee. I'm a bit of a nightmare with coffee, I'm not going to lie. I've just ordered a new coffee machine, actually. That is what surges through my veins, I'm afraid. I don't have blood, I have coffee. That's all I drink. And I wonder why I can't sleep at night. Right. Love it. So, now you have to decide. We're going to put the rim of his hat on next. So it's just really deciding where you want to put them. On my last lot that I did, I've got one lot that goes above, one lot goes in the middle, and one lot that goes right down the bottom here. So it's up to you. You decide where you would like to put it. I think this time, the last one I've made is kind of a medium-y kind of one. I can sit and play with that for hours if I'm not careful, just sort of messing about with it. And I don't really want to. So, right, so you've got to roll yourself a sausage. It says sausage. You don't want a massive one, but you don't want it really thin. So just kind of get a gauge for it. Yeah, I think that'll be enough. Because again, we don't want to let that go hard. Just give it a little squeeze at the end to make sure you've got no air in there. Right, if it's a little bit not sticking correctly, a little bit of water, get it so it's nice and sort of slippy, then we know it's well stuck together. Okay, and then roll it like a sausage, literally. It's very important to try and have a clean desk if you can when you start this, because it will pick up everything on your desk, any colour that you have on there. I had some red on mine earlier, I couldn't get it off, didn't matter how hard I tried. With Dettol wipes and I don't know what, it just would not come off. But funnily, it came off in my clay. Right, so just watch the ends, pinch the ends, because sometimes they can go hollow. Okay, so just be careful a little bit of the ends, because that can travel down to the other end, like through the middle, which you don't want, because when you can just sort of shape it out, it won't work. Right, so I'm going to have mine facing me this way. Oh, I don't know about this bit here. God, my hands have gone stiffer than a board. I'm completely covered in clay. One of them, because I'm doing all mine for Christmas, so what I'm going to do, I wanted a nice sort of point on the end of one of them, because I wanted to hang a bauble on the end of one. So I'm going to use that one, I think. So I'm going to about there, I think, or shall I go? Thank you. That way. Perhaps that way would be the better way. And then it's not the same as the other one that I've done, because I've done a whoosh that way on the other one. See what I mean? It's so simple to change your mind, decide to do something different, add something. It's up to you. It is entirely up to you. They are such a versatile, lovely little fella that they really are quite easy and simple to make. Right. Roll that in the middle there, a little bit thin now. No, I'm going to do that again because I don't like that. It's that's annoying. It's just take your time. That's something I always sort of say throughout all my videos. Take your time. If you try and rush these things, it just won't, you'll not be happy with it. So just take your time and just gently sort of go over it. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so I'm going to put him up on here now. So it raises him up. So A, we can see him a little bit better. Okay. The trouble is with this, it doesn't give me a lot of room to... There we go. You don't want to keep pulling him up and sticking back down and whatever, because he will fall apart. Till he starts to go a little bit on the harder side, then you'll stop that. Right, see, I can feel that's hollow in there already. Some people twist the ends to stop it, so just a little twist in the ends, which puts a stop to it travelling up any further. That doesn't matter whether you're doing DAS clay, air clay, Fimo. You will always get, eventually, if you just continually roll them, you'll always get, it's like hollow straight up the middle. Right, okay, so this one I'm going to kind of go high up. Yeah, I think so. Make him a bit of a tall fella. Okay. So I always water the area first. Gives me a rough estimate on where I want to go. And then all around the back, because obviously you're going to join it at the back, you want to make sure it's nice and wet and it will stick really well. Okay. So we're just going to put it on to start with. I'm not going to turn it round yet. And just tuck it round. Okay. Now, you do want to just squash it down a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to turn it sideways and we're going to use a tool, which is just a sculpting tool, and you're just going to squish it down. So just a little bit on there like that, and then I'll go over it with my fingers afterwards and just straighten it out. So a little bit of water. This is how come I get covered in clay so much. I live with clay all over my fingers, or some sort of paint, or Okay, and then as you go, just kind of just the very back of the seam bit, if you can see that there, just the very back, just squish it down a little bit like that. Not digging in too hard, otherwise you'll make another ridge. And then finger in the water, and then straight down where you've done. See? And then it makes it all nice and sort of soft, and when it stops being quite so slimy, which you want to start with because then it gives a nice coverage. Okay, and we're going to carry on just round, just not digging it in too far. Okay, and then just stopping every now and again. I mean, if you didn't want to use your fingers, you could use a ball tool or something like that. That would work very well. And then just pulling it round the back to where you want it. Now I don't carry on, or I just carry on till I get to the bottom here, just down here, because I like to do the other side then before I go round to the back, so you've got both the back pieces together at the same time. So it makes it just that little bit easier. Oh, let's finish that off properly. Okay. Oh, caught the edge of that then. So I've rolled it over a bit far, but that's alright. If anything, I think you probably could do with it at the back anyway. I mean, again, entirely up to you. How much of an edging you give it, how much of what size boots you want, if you even want boots. They really are versatile. Really, really versatile. I mean, if you wanted to put clay pattern on them before you painted them, you could do. I mean, I like to put mine on afterwards. Okay, right, so this side's not going to be quite so easy because we've got the side of his hat. So we're just going to pinch it and spread it. And then to become, just use the side of it, it will be okay. As long as you get to the same result, you just need the back of that sort of piece of edging to make contact, then it won't fall off. Just noticed I've left some clay out, which is really naughty. Okay, see? So there we go. So I'm going to do this one from behind now, look. I'm going to just pop it on and pull it back. Just a little bit, so it's like pinching it and pulling it back. Okay. Doesn't look very pleasant and tidy to start with, but once you go down there with some water on your fingers, it will straighten itself out. Just don't sort of jab it in too hard, that's all I would say to you. Okay. It's very easy to sort out. This is another thing I like about this old Das clay. It's really good. It's so easy to, if you make a mistake, it's quite simple to sort it out. See how I've pushed that one in a little bit too far, so it's kind of made a bit of dimple marks now. But, I mean, a little bit of rubbing and it will go. Okay, so down to this bit now. See what I mean? It's it does work quite well. Sorry, I do tend to whittle on when I'm working. Okay, same thing around the bottom. Just as you go around that corner. I mean, if you don't want to use a tool, you can just use your fingers. You can just look, if you can see that, just sort of pushing it upwards. And then sort of like so. Like that. Alright, right, now cross them over on the back. And then if you've got a knife to hand or anything sharpish, just straight down the middle. And what that'll do is take those 2 bits away, which I'm now going to put together. Oh, they're all right actually. We'll use those for the boots in a second because I want to put boots on mine. And then just push them together like so. There we go. Take it under and in. These tools are brilliant. You can get them in a whole multitude of colours and oh, my poor puppy. My son's using the washing his car, so he's not allowed outside at the moment because he barks at all the neighbours because he's scared of them. Little monster. Okay, so here we go. So I feel like that now. If we add a little bit of water, push it together. That's it. I don't know if you can see it now. And then what we'll do is we'll move him into the middle in a second. And when we move him, we can just tuck it in how you want to it at the bottom. Okay. So, if he's stuck well and truly, which they usually are, which he is, take spatula, brilliant, just at an angle, straight underneath him. Now I'm picking up this chappy now, you've got to be a little bit careful, you don't want him to bruise too much. So I like mine so it's tucked in like that, a bit like a wizard's cape at the back. There you go. Now once we finish these and they're dry, you've got to give them a couple of days to dry. And just a tip that I have found, they won't dry in the middle unless you put them on like a cake stand. But don't put them on a cake stand to start with for the first night because it will, oh look at the cracks in the front. It will oh my goodness me, it will leave grooves in it. I mean, I don't care for grooves in the bottom, mine doesn't bother me. But what I don't want it to do is distort it and make grooves. Okay. Right, so these little cracks here, I'm going to use this tool here and just rub them. A little bit of water. We're going to have boots on underneath here anyway, so... And we've got beard to put on, which we're going to print on first. And then we're going to put whichever ones we want to put on afterwards. Okay. So we have all end of a tool, just run it through. Different shapes to make the beard. Oh, bless him. Shame. Right, okay. You can use a needle, you can use anything to... You just want to put lines in so it just kind of mimics a beard. Don't push too hard, obviously. I suppose if you've got cracks in it, you could go along those cracks. Just different lines, different wavies, different shapes. It doesn't matter if it cracks a little bit then, that doesn't matter. I think my clay's dried out at the bottom a little bit, that's what's going on there. But we're going to put shoes on him anyway, so you're not going to sort of see too much. That's the other good thing about them as well, is that they're going to be sort of fairly well hidden with whatever you want to put on them. I wasn't going to put too much of a beard on this one, but I think I'm going to have to. Okay. There we go. And he's going to do Lally now. The trouble is, at the moment he's 6 months old and he probably weighs in excess of about 45 kilos. So he's going to be some sort of beastie. Although he's our beastie, but when he jumps he flattens people. When you've got a 7-year-old, and some days I can hardly walk, and I come out the bathroom and he's so pleased to see me like I've been somewhere, and flattens me. Okay. You can hear him jumping, little monkey. There we go. Right, so we're going to leave it at that. If you want to go along and just tack it down, you can do. Knock any bits off. And then with the big ball tool, we're going to come along and we're going to make a nose hole. So I'm going to put mine about there. You want to put that in, nice sized nose hole, because I'm going to give this chappy a really big stonky hole. Big stonky nose. Okay. And then shoes. So I'm going to make shoe holes as well. I like mine one each side. One there. And one there. Just so it's got something to fit into with the clay. Otherwise it just won't. I mean, if there's some on the bottom there, it doesn't matter, look. If anything, I'd probably encourage that, because it will just sort of stick to it. So first we're going to make your shoes. So get yourself 2 balls of clay. You want them the same size. It will be easier to marry up size-wise if... Right, I'm going to add some water to this. Now it goes all slippery, so do be careful. That piece. Right. This one I'm going to make long feet, I think. Long shoes. The other one's got big round shoes. But you do want to try and get your balls of clay roughly about the same size for your feet. Otherwise it just will not mould together. I always end up cutting about 5 or 6 balls before I decide on 2 that look the same. There we go. Okay, 2 balls. Okay, so I want a lump at the back to start with, and then I'm going to get them long and round. I want one quite long this time. Like I say, they were quite rounded last time. You will have to be careful though when it comes to like using these, because you don't want to end up knocking them off. So just be a little bit sort of careful. Okay, so that's what I've got for one look. Quite happy with that one. I quite like that. So we're going to do the same again. Just sort of squash it down. I always make a bit of an arch in the back, so that it sort of fits up around. Although it's fitting into a hole, it's still... That's the wrong way, isn't it, you silly woman? Probably rounded like that, like a ball. Like that, like the back of its neck. There we go. You obviously want to make sure they're the same width and same length. Otherwise they'll look a bit dodgy. One ball must have been slightly bigger than the other, because the end is slightly thinner, well, slightly smaller. Okay, so I'm going to cut the tip off of that one, so it's so important that you get this part the same. It's no good if it's 2 different sizes. I mean, if it's marginally, it won't matter because they're not next door to each other. Nobody will probably notice it, but there we go. It looks roughly the same, although that one's quite a lot. There we go. 2 feet. So that'll go one in there like that. Pushing it up like that. Check to see if you do like it. Obviously you've got a beard to go over this. I don't know that I like that. Let's try and make that better. Perhaps they're a little bit too long. Okay. Yeah, I think that will do it. Once you're happy, obviously use your ball tool or whatever tool to push it under, because you don't want it to look very peculiar. Or too peculiar, it's a better way of writing it and saying it, I suppose. That's there we go. There we go. Okay, you could, once you're happy, pop a little bit of water behind on the end there. Put a few cut marks in it, in the back of the hole and the foot, and then it will stick to it quite well. Okay, again, use your tool. Just tuck it underneath so it's nice and sort of folded up nicely. Looking a bit like an actual foot, which is what you want. That's it, and then just smooth it out nicely. Okay, and I'm happy with that one. Okay, and we're going to do the same with this one. We're going to put some lines in it. And in the hole, again, it's just sort of sloughing it up a little bit so it sticks. And then we're going to use a little bit of water in the hole on the back of the shoe. And then we're going to push it in there. And use that tool, I think, just to pull it down so it fits nicely in the hole. And we're going to straighten out the front there, look. I've got a bit of a crease there, look. Just a little bit of water. So, now we're going to do the nose, and that is one big nose. Oh, goodness me, I'm forever dropping bits of clay. Right, this might not be big enough, but then it might be, because we don't want it sort of too... Oh, I think that looks alright, actually. Right, we're going to put a little bit of water in it because I don't want to make it so that it's cracked. Cracked noses don't work for me. That's it. And we're going to do exactly the same as what we did with the shoe. So we're going to cut the back of the nose up, like so, in the hole. Like so. And put some water in there. And on the nose. And then we're going to squidge it in. That's it. Right, now with your tool, you're going to push the sides in because you want it to fit. Certainly at the top. Making sure it's nice and comfortable. And then it's up to you if you want to put any hair and whatnot on it, facial hair, which I'm going to, I think. I don't know, I might just put a very long moustache. When you paint, if it looks a bit cracky at the moment, once it's dried, when it's painted, that will dull down a little bit. Especially because I put, I like glitter on mine to make it look like snow. So I'm going to make a moustache now. Tell you what we could make on that as well. See what I mean? I sit here and I do things and I think, right, okay, I know which way I'm going with it, and then it takes a completely massive turn and goes completely the other way. I was just looking, I reckon we could make tops for them and maybe turn them into boots, like Dick Turpin kind of boots, like, that's probably a bit much, about that much. This is nice and soft as well. So the cling film does work, so do it. Okay. A little bit of water on it won't hurt it. It will make it slimy, but it won't hurt it. Ooh, I started to put sugar in that. See, that shows how often he makes me coffee, because I don't have sugar. Right. So make, again, if you're going to do one thing, make two balls. If you're going to make two of something, make sure they're the same sort of size. That's probably a bit big actually. Don't think we need that one. I think we'll just use these two. Right, and what I'm going to do is just a simple I've never put one of the tops boots on before, so your guess is as good as mine. I do want them to be nice and like that at the front. Offer it up, see what you think. I'm not liking that so far. So let's make it a proper edge. And that's where the problem is. On the ends. Okay, so all I've done is just make it bigger in the middle, like fatter in the middle, and then skinnier at each end. What I don't want it to do is look like an ankle chain of some sort. Or, no, it's just not working, is it? Maybe I'll just stop this idea. I can't make it look like I want to. Oh, unless we do it that way. Let me see what that looks like. No, it just doesn't look right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just keep this to use these for the moustache. So the moustache I'm going to, that was a massive fail whale, ladies and gentlemen. See, it happens to everybody, and anybody who says it doesn't is a fibber. When I look at something and I think, oh, I quite can sort of see that sort of happening with it, you've got to give it a go, because if you don't, you'll never know. And you'll never try new things. So, right, now we're going to make sure they're the same length, which they are roughly, and then we're going to twist from the top. So just pinch the top and twist, like so. It's easier to hold on to the bottom, and then pinch your bottom together. Right, now I want that to come from up his nose, sort of around that area. So I'm going to use my brush, a little bit of water under his nose. And I'm going to stick it just in there. And I have it coming out, trailing over like that. Do I like that? Perhaps it needs to be higher. Like so. That works well. I like that. So same again. Grab it, pinch it at the top and twist. And we twisted a piece off. Okay, don't panic. We'll just stick it back on at the top. And just gently twist it again. Pinch in the top. Okay. There we go. And then with your tool, just sort of put the top in like so. Sweeping it down. Then bring it forward. Like so. Like that. Now I'm going to put a little bit of water under there so it sticks to his boot. So it's got a little bit more stability. Okay, and there you have it. My next gnome. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe, and you can follow me on Instagram. And I will bring a picture of all three when they're all done. I don't know what wonderful things I'm going to do to the next one, or what size he's going to be. So all I know is he is a little bit larger, look. But again, I don't want three gnomes, but that's personal choice. Three gnomes that are all the same size. So, like I say, it's up to you. It's up to you what you want to do. It's up to you. It's your gnome. It's whatever you like. Ooh. So I'm going to stick him on there next to that one. And you can see how much bigger he is. Look, he's not massively bigger. See? And then when I decorate it, I'll redo all these bits. Let's push that on a little bit more under there, I think. Don't want to lose a moustache or a nose or a tash or anything. Have it running off down the road. And there you have it. 2 gnomes, ladies and gentlemen. And I reckon you'll probably get about 6 of these out of one dust packet, which you can pick up in the works for £4. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, which I will do now, is in the top here, I like to put like stress marks. So just run a tool around it, like so, like that. You can run your finger around it afterwards to make sure if it's too deep or whatever. And then you want some stress marks around here. Because if you wore a hat, you'd have stress marks if it rolled over like that. You can just see that. They just look quite cute. The time to do it probably is when you're doing it. First doing that part, because it will crack if you're not careful. There you go, and there you have it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to me. Being new on YouTube, it's been very difficult to get some subscribers. I'm sort of going on my way now. I have a few. You can follow me on Instagram. I have a lot of followers on Instagram. It's going up nicely. And there'll be lots of other bits. Towards Christmas that's coming, I'll just show you one of the other things that I've actually done. I just want to put this away so it doesn't dry out. Oh, I've got to have my chair. You can excuse me a second. Is this? I don't know if you can see it. It's my little reindeer on just a candle. It was actually a candle was in there. We burnt the candle. My son burnt the candle, and I stole the pots. I mean, as you can tell, they're perfect. So I will do one that's using Fimo clay, and we will have a go at doing one of these. I do have another one of these left, so we'll have a go. I'd like to do a snowman on the other one. And I have got a glass one out in the hallway. They're great. You should keep all this sort of thing from burning candles and that, because they're ideal for sticking things to. Like I said, I've got a glass one in the hallway that we're just about to have finished off nearly. And I think I'm going to stick two on that one in the hallway, side by side. Or a snowman or something like that. So they're always worth keeping. And just show it to the back of the cupboard for a rainy day. But as you can tell, I'm very pleased with him. He's lovely because he's a oven bake. He dries very hard. So I will do a what's it on one of those as well. I've got some other things that I'm wanting to do, but I want to have a little practice at them first. And then we'll go into some of that a bit later. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe and follow me on please follow me on Instagram. Thanks very much. Bye.